Ever since SummerSlam, I have given it my best effort to not jump to conclusions or to be rash and get upset and pissed off over the screwed finishes against Daniel Bryan week in, week out. Now that this angle has blown over for now, and you look at the result, I am very sad to say that I was right. Very sad to say. Because Daniel Bryan is now in an elite class of people that have defeated John Cena clean in the middle of the ring. And we're talking past WrestleMania 21 when he finally won the WWE title from John Bradshaw Layfield. Very few people have had the skill and had the will and the overall ability to beat John Cena clean. And very few people have gotten over with the crowd enough to where the WWE said, okay, we're going to go with this guy and he's going to go over on John Cena. Very few. And it wasn't like Batista in SummerSlam 2008 where he bitched and moaned and he won as a to be pacified. This was the better man in that match was Daniel Bryan, hands down, no screwed finishes, no nothing. Daniel Bryan could have ridden that wave for months. But now it feels like that never even happened. With the way he's been booked and the way he's been made to look, it feels like that match didn't even happen. And speaking as a diehard Daniel Bryan fan, it was very frustrating to see him go through week in and week out of constantly getting the runaround. And honestly, it was ridiculous. They completely missed the boat on making this guy even bigger than what he was. And I am not buying it when people say he got his moment, he had the confetti, he had the fireworks, he had his moment, and no, he didn't. Less than 3 minutes after, it was taken away from him. That's not a moment. Stone Cold Steve Austin winning the WWF title at WrestleMania 14, that was a moment. Because after Austin won the belt, the night was over. That's it. When Mick Foley beat The Rock for the WWF title and celebrated with DX, that's a moment because Mick Foley won it. When The Undertaker beat Batista at WrestleMania 23, the crowd popped because they wanted The Undertaker to win that title because time in and time out he got screwed out of winning it. That was it. Daniel Bryan did not get that same chance. And it's very frustrating as a fan of his to see him week in and week out get the runaround. Because if you look at past baby faces, and in no way, shape, or form am I saying that Daniel Bryan is even close to the level of the star that Stone Cold Steve Austin was or is. Because to me, Stone Cold Steve Austin is the greatest WWE superstar of all time. And I'm not just spouting Vince McMahon bullshit. I truly believe Stone Cold was the best ever. Because Stone Cold Steve Austin identified with every single person in the audience, sold more tickets than anyone else, and had moments that 20 years from now people will still be talking about. Stone Cold Steve Austin is in a class by himself. However, when Stone Cold Steve Austin was going up against the corporation, it was not a lopsided feud. They would take chance apiece. Stone Cold would get the upper hand. Vince McMahon would get the upper hand. It was never a one-sided deal. But very few instances would Vince McMahon succeed in taking the title off of him. Very few instances. Stone Cold was predominantly the champion. Because he was the one that connected with the audience, and no pun intended, it was the right thing for business. Even now, after everything that this poor bastard has gone through, there are still people that love Daniel Bryan and want him to succeed, and I count myself as one of them. But it is very, very hard to cheer for a guy who is made to look like a loser. Stone Cold Steve Austin was not booked like a loser. He was booked like a winner. And Daniel Bryan has not been booked like a winner at all since SummerSlam. After SummerSlam, 8 shows that followed, he got his ass kicked. I mean, he got his ass kicked. And every time he's gotten his ass kicked, he's had little to no redemption for it. That's how you book your best babyface? Come on. You're much smarter than that. I saw no reason for it. I, you know, people think that I'm stupid and think that I'm crazy for saying this, but a lot of people like Daniel Bryan and want him to succeed. And it's not happening. It hasn't happened. You can't count Night of Champions because that lasted the amazing span of one day. And now Daniel Bryan is teaming up with CM Punk to face the Wyatt family. Good for the Wyatts. It'll be the best program that they've had in a while because feuding with Kane put them in the shitter. And it did nothing for them. Feuding with Daniel Bryan and CM Punk is good for the Wyatts, but I think it's a step down for Daniel Bryan. Because to me, he's so much better than that. He's so much better than the mid-card. That's me. I think he's better than that. And I don't think he belongs there. I don't look at him the same way I look as the guys that Triple H had the guts to say was, oh, they were good wrestlers, but they weren't on top. Newsflash, Triple H was never the face of the company either. So I don't even know why he had the guts to say that, even though it was a promo. It makes no sense, because Triple H was never the guy. In the words of Jim Cornette, which, believe it or not, it's one of the best DVDs I ever bought, was the guest booker with Cornette when he rebooks The Invasion. He said it best. Triple H was always the guy that worked with the guy that drew the money. He never, I don't think for 1 second that Triple H sold out arena after arena that came just to see him. Not at all. He was not The Rock. He was not Stone Cold. He wasn't even Shawn Michaels, who didn't sell that many tickets, but he wasn't Shawn Michaels as far as performance. So, the only way that they could rectify this whole situation with Daniel Bryan is to either have him defeat Triple H one-on-one or finally win the title and keep it for a little while. The Hell in a Cell finish was probably one of the worst finishes I ever seen. And I was sitting there and I saw him knee Triple H and I saw Shawn Michaels get it and I'm like, don't you do it, Shawn. Don't you do it. And he did it. And I heard a lot of reports that people were just, the air was sucked out of them when that happened and it was just an anticlimactic finish. And then Shawn Michaels gave that pissant excuse, he's my best friend, I had to be there for him, blah, 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 blah. And then Daniel Bryan put him in the yes lock, and it was a great moment. And what surprised me was that people were booing Shawn Michaels. They were booing his ass. And I'm going to be honest, I don't want to boo Shawn Michaels. To me, Shawn Michaels is one of the best performers ever. I don't want to boo him. But a lot of people were pissed off enough that he kicked this little useless little good little hand, that's how they portray him. And unfortunately, there's a lot of idiots out there that actually buy into what Triple H says. And I'm going to say that you're an idiot if you believe that, because Daniel Bryan is so much better than just a hand. So much better than just a good utility worker. Triple H's character is supposed to be the jerk. The fans aren't supposed to be the jerks. I don't know. I guess they get mixed up. But you couldn't even enjoy that moment because less than 5 minutes after that, Daniel Bryan gets laid out by the Wyatt family. And that's my whole point when it comes to Daniel Bryan. His fans, myself included, cannot enjoy any good moment for him because they're ended within 30 seconds or they're just completely negated. And that is not how you book a great babyface. It's all in the booking. Ryback right now would be in much better shape if he was booked properly. Ever since WrestleMania, he has looked like shit. Well, actually, even before then, he looked like shit, but they had a chance to rectify that at this year's WrestleMania, and they made him lose to Mark Henry by getting squashed. I was there at WrestleMania. I wanted to see the shell shock on Mark Henry, and that should have been the finish. No one gives a shit about Ryback anymore. The Hell in a Cell match he had with Punk was horrid. It was just like last year, except now the roles were reversed. Did anyone really give a damn? No. It's all in the booking. It is all in the booking. And the wrestlers are not the problem. It's the booking. And the lack of freedom that they have to be themselves. The segment between Daniel Bryan and Shawn Michaels was one of the coolest intense scenes I've seen in a while. Daniel Bryan didn't say a word. He just had this look on his face like he wanted to rip Shawn Michaels' throat out. And that's how he should have looked. And Shawn Michaels tapped out to him. And not many people could say that they made Shawn Michaels tap out. So again, Daniel Bryan is in a very elite list of people that have defeated John Cena clean and has made Shawn Michaels submit. I'm just hoping that they rectify this whole situation with him, because if they miss the boat on him, they missed the boat on Daniel Bryan's popularity, it's shame on them, not him.